Alright, so I beat my first Big Boy Extreme in Final Fantasy, and like the average millionaire, because I did it once, I'm now an expert in it. So everybody buckle up and listen, because I'm about to give you instructions on every single mechanic. Also, I'm doing this one track because I don't feel like recording this again. So if my instructions are bad, that's your fault, not mine. First things first, I set up a ready check. Make sure my gang is ready, everybody giving me instructions. I don't barely know what I'm doing, but we're going to succeed. I put down the counter, that way everybody can cast. I miss, I press it again. We go in, and the first thing I start off with is not knowing my rotation, so I start off with the gap closer. If that's wrong, fuck you. So what I do is I bust out my first set of movements. Alright, for the first mechanic, he starts doing these curves, right? You gotta go in the opposite direction of the curves. Don't stand in them, because when you get hit by it, you get damaged down, I think. So basically you move over to the left or the right, depending on which angle it is, and you move towards the middle. Once you get towards the middle, you gotta start avoiding bombs. I don't know where to stand for them, so I just walk around and follow the group. And eventually I think I get hit by one of them, so we're gonna pretend that one didn't happen. Alright, once you survive that, he's gonna cast Sky Ruin. Sky Ruin changes it to fire. The fight always starts with fire phase, so he's gonna big boom. Alright, if you're a tank, the next thing you wanna do is you want to mitigate for this, because he's gonna bust out a big boom boom. Big boom boom bad, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure you're bam for that. Me and the paladin together, locked in. Bam, volcanic eruption, look left and right, volcano. Avoid it. Run to the other side, don't get spewed on. They're gonna also spew. Alright, I lied. This is no longer one take. I accidentally had to do a second take because I accidentally spilled my lucky charms. I'm not going to question about that. I'm going to go to the A point. At the beginning of the fight, you're going to find a partner. Partner has to be stayed with at all times with mechanics like this. Sometimes he'll be a big circle. When he circles around, he's going to spin around, make a big donut. You stand in the middle, stand with your partner, and don't let them die. If he gets real close, puts his claws up, he's going to do an explosion around his like ring. You avoid that as well. You saw that little notification above people? That was a blue icon. Move it around, otherwise you're going to explode. Mountain of Fire, big tank buster, coolest mechanic in the whole fight. First tank goes up, stands in it, mitigates. Everybody else has to stand behind him while you body block it. You switch out with the other tank, stand behind them, mitigate for him if you need, and then you go back in. Mitigate again, do any healing you need to do, bam, tank it. Switch it out, throw it back in. Go on the angle because you don't want the party wiped out because they weren't paying attention to trigonometry class. Go back in, tank it, bust out that thrill of battle. Bam, half my health is gone, I almost fucking died. I'm sweating a little bit, but I get behind him, stand in the wrong spot, get back into space. Then, I all of a sudden immediately forget what my mechanic is, so I go to my light party. Go to my light party, fire's gonna fall on us. Now that fire fell on us, we're gonna keep moving forward each time that we land so that we don't die. Then he follows the healer, so we're gonna walk with the healer. Then once the third one happens, I leave prematurely because I'm scared of fire. Then, I start busting out my fell cleaves immediately. And I immediately knew that without actually knowing where I was in the video. Ice mechanic, keep walking or you'll die. And another volcanic eruption, look left and right, which side it's coming from, walk to the other side. It's going to spew, and then it's going to spew onto individual people. Avoid the individual people, and keep busting out your fell cleaves. Remember, fell cleave, fell cleave, fell cleave. Now, it's doing a cone. This is one of the other ones. Go with your partner, make sure they don't die. Look at that. If I wasn't there, you would be like Daddy Crab, dead. Lightning. Lightning bad. If you stand near somebody while you have lightning, you're going to kill them. So stand far away from anybody, preferably inside a square, unlike what I'm doing. Disaster Zone is when he goes back to his normal phase. Everything gets easy from there. That's actually a bald-faced lie. Ruin, we're told. Everybody has to stack into light parties and take straight Kamehameha blasts. And at the same time, you have to make sure you handle all the ads. So I bust out my most powerful set of fell cleaves. Bam, 1, 2, 3. Bust out that fucking primal ruination next. Yeah! So that was my biggest set of DPS, so I get that last fell cleave in, we go towards the next one, all the parties gather up, jump this last thunder spear, so we busting out big boy damage. We only have to tank about 4 of these big Kamehameha blasts, and we're balling. In fact, I'm so confident I fucking ignore my party for the entire stack marker. And now, it's time for Truly Disaster. This is his big boy attack, his fucking end-all be-all. He's gonna hit everybody in the party with every single element he's got in his goddamn arsenal. Ice, spam, make sure you mitigate him, make sure you heal him for the party. Do what you can. If you can't do anything, run away, die, I don't give a shit. If you're a DPS, you're useless, I don't know what to tell you. Keep doing damage during this time. He busts out the lightning, he busts out the fire, he busts out the big boy damage, he even busts out the sound. He got the fucking fell cleave eyes, he's busting out all the damage. You tank it, you heal it, do whatever you gotta do. That's done, that's easy. No big deal. all of a sudden he starts casting Sky Ruin. Sky Ruin means it's going to change fields. Make sure you look at whatever symbol's in there. He's casting Ice first. So I get to explain the Ice mechanics. I don't remember the other ones. I think it's just Ice and Lightning after this. But when he does Ice, the first thing you have to do is make sure that the tanks go to their respective points 1 and 2, because he's going to fucking murder the entirety of the party. Tri-Scourge is, again, that big raid wide, so make sure you deeply mitigate with the party. I run over to 1, because that big ice symbol over my head means I'm gonna fucking nuke my party. Everybody else has to stack into light parties over at B and C, I think. Bam, look at how big that shit was. That took out half my motherfucking health. Equilibrium, that shit. Yeah! Rumbling Avalanche. This is like some endwalker mechanic. I don't remember what the fuck it was. Avoid the avalanche. What are you, stupid? Bust out as many fell cleaves as you can. I was scared of how big it was, so No! Forgot about that. Trauma. Shiva mechanic, don't really know what to do here, was panicking, immediately ran into here. This was my first time into this mechanic, by the way. Lightning, didn't know what to do here, but I was frozen, so I was doomed. I think I was gonna die here. But I locked in, and still fucking died, because I didn't know what the fuck to do with the lightning. So we saved it here, and here I made my biggest mistake. I forgot that when I die, I'm very low on the enmity list. So as you can see in the top right, I'm number 8 in the enmity list, and I do nothing to get higher. So I'm actually stuck in this lake for the rest of the fight. Avoid the big curves of the same mechanic as the start of the fight. It's exactly the same. There's no differences, I think. I lied. There's actually an avalanche coming, so you have to avoid that. I got real lucky. Bust out your foe cleaves, do your DPS. You got like solid 5 seconds before the next mechanic pops out. So I actually lied. A second mechanic has hit the tower. This is the same cone that was in the fire phase, so you're going to run over to the edge, whatever lets you avoid it. You don't need to stack, so you don't need to worry about it. Make sure that when that mechanic happens, you don't run back into the AoE afterwards. It lingers, it's a dot. This is Shiva mechanic, avoid it. I say it's Shiva mechanic, but I've never actually done a Shiva extreme, so I don't know what if it actually is. So if I'm wrong, fuck you. Freezing Dust, don't really know what that is, but it was bad, so I got frozen. I think that you're supposed to keep moving when that happens, but I wasn't. So I have to tank this as well. Avoid people because I think that it's a mechanic that you have to avoid, and immediately start doing normal damage. It's really hard for me to try to figure out where I am in my like DPS rotation, but right now we're gonna get hit with a double tank buster, and this is where my mistake of not being high on the enemy municipal ladders. Some poor DPS has to suffer for my hubris, and the paladin does his fucking god-intended labor to save that person. Somehow I think I stood in that tank buster because I wasn't paying attention. He fucking covered and invulned it like a fucking god he is. Thunder phase is what we're switching to, by the way. So now we're going to go to the next phase, the final phase, by the way, because he's only at 20%. We're locked in. I have to lock in. I remember the mechanics of this mechanic. That's right, mechanics of this mechanic. Immediately I'm at low health, I stand still to make sure I get a little bit of healing. Immediately heal, bust out my damage. Immediately I have to provoke, so I find the button, I press the button, I'm top of the enemy list now. Light party stack, I don't know what it is, so I go over to my party just because it looks like it's supposed to, something I'm supposed to do. We get hit with it on the ground, not in the air, and we immediately walk forward, just like we did before. We don't get hit with it multiple times, so it's not an issue for us. We have a platform that sends us into the air and a platform that sends us on the ground. Right now it doesn't matter because right now we need to run for our fucking lives. Meteors are falling everywhere, and we have to avoid the damage as best as possible. Mitigate for your party, heal for your party, avoid the big nukes, walk around in a circle, avoid it as much as possible. Right there is a feather that has appeared. That's the feather that everybody has decided that we're going to kill. I don't know why, but that's what we do. I barely notice that it's there and don't even actually target it. But then once I remember that we have to target it, I eventually hit it and hit it one time before it gets destroyed. And then we stand in the cube that that feather was sitting at. That keeps us safe from this next mechanic, which is Blighted Bolt. I don't really know how, but we survived it. I have wiped on it before, but I still don't know the mechanic. Lightning pops up. If you're on the lightning, you make sure you're in the air. Wait, sorry, in the ground, not the air. Ice is in the air, lightning is in the ground. Just like if you're dealing with a car, you put electricity on the ground so that you don't kill yourself. We have a limit break gauge. I don't think we ever used it because we were confident we would die. Donut mechanic, just like before, stay on the inside. You don't need to tag with anybody, so we stand all together. We immediately scatter because every single AoE in this fight, everybody has to bait the AoEs out of the way. I actually got paralyzed, so I'm a little bit fucked, but it's okay. These are big lines, avoid the lines. I didn't actually check my right side, but I knew I was confident because everybody else was here. I'm a sheep, people. So what we do now is we bust out as many fell cleaves and primal ruinations as we can. I'm in ice, which means I stay up. Lightning has to go down, and then we got this under control. We're getting real close right now. We're coming out at 5%. And 5% is when I knew that we could do this. I believed in myself and everybody else. Immediately I start busting up my rotation. I'm locked in. I'm drooling on myself. My girlfriend's watching me as I just drool. This is the claw mechanic. You get far out. Make sure you don't stand in it, otherwise you're gonna get trauma. Trauma bad. Bait that out. run back in, bust out some damage. I missed the AoEs, but it's fine. I don't care about paralyzation or vulnerability. I'm a goddamn warrior. Disaster zone. It's back to the beginning. We won this fight. All we have to do is bust out some basic bitch damage. There's some double tank buster that hits, but it don't fucking matter. I lied. We gotta stand in that shit. I arm's length this so I don't get sent back. Me and the tank standing, I almost fucking die. We bust out our damage, and bam! We fucking won! It's done! It's fucking done! So extreme trials are pretty fun, and I think I'm gonna start doing this more often. I think I'm gonna just start recording my attempts at the extreme trials that I do, and then I'll voice over how it works very poorly. I didn't get the wings. I might grind for that at some point. I have no faith in me recreating my performance today. Wow, I look naked there. That's not good. We gotta censor that shit. I hope you enjoyed. I mean, it was a fun fight. I'll do it again if it's like worth it. I might try to ever keep next. Maybe.